Garrett
Oh,
Allen
okay.
wants to know, how do you see the safety position playing out? We know that Juan Thornhill and Justin Reed will start. Who is the third string? Is it automatically Bryan Cook? Connor, do you think it's automatically Bryan Cook?
I would be pretty shocked if it's not Bryan Cook
Yeah,
because we know he's a heady player. He's already having a little bit of hype coming out of the camp. Um, and it was a high draft pick. It was a second round draft pick. And Juan Thornhill played as a rookie, as a second rounder under Steve Spagnuolo. So the precedent there. And I think his role would even be less than what Juan's was that year. So I would be pretty shocked if it's not him. And if it isn't him, I kind of like, what's wrong? Because like you would want a second round rookie to play third safety snaps, even though it's important in the Chiefs defense. I think his skill set fits in well with it. He's a smart dude, so he could probably pick up the defense enough to play it. There would probably be a reason he's not the third safety if it doesn't happen, but I predict it will.
yeah, and you look behind him, Deion Bush. Like, I
It
no
could be
disrespect
him.
to Deion Bush, he could be a decent. When they signed him, I thought that they were going to roll with him as the third safety. But you look at Bryan Cook. I thought it was a slight overdraft personally of the slot. I kind
Sure.
of had him as more of a third or fourth round guy. But you look at the things he's able to do, which is quite a bit. You look at his athleticism. I know that, sideline to sideline may not be his thing, but I think north south running, just the pure speed, I think he has. He's a guy that I think he fits in well with this, trio of Justin Reed, of Juan Thornhill, of Bryan Cook. I think it just makes sense to have him be the third safety. I'd say 90% that I'd be really expecting it. And if that 10% struck and he wasn't the third safety, I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, he played cornerback at what was it, Howard? I forgot what the college before Cincinnati was. He
That
played some
sounds right, I
cornerback
think.
at whatever it was before he transferred to Cincy, and then Cincy he played like the roaming like safety who comes down and hits hard, played in the slot. So he's like basically what Daniel Sorensen was. I think that's about what the role would be there. And then Justin Reed would play like a Tyrann Mathieu type thing, except it's like it's Daniel Sorensen in the slot instead of Tyrann Mathieu in the slot. So it's kind of like a little bit of a role reversal there, but it's functionally they'll have guys to play the roles that they already did have with Tyrann Mathieu and like Daniel Sorensen. So that's the idea with Cook. We'll see if it manifests that way and if he shows enough to where they'll play him in that role. But I think his skill set coming out of college fit that role, and it's what the Chiefs needed. So there would be an issue if he's not playing, I feel.
Continuing on with the safety position, Santi Gonzalez wants to know, can Juan Thornhill play at an all-pro level? How diverse can his game be if he finally has Spag's trust? So Juan Thornhill, for those who missed it, spoke on Tuesday after day one of minicamp. He said straight up, I'm going to have an all-pro season. My confidence is at an all-time high. I'm not worried about the knee. I'm feeling good. I'm flying around out there. I'm going to be a leader. Like, he sounded different. Like, I had never seen or heard Juan Thornhill this confident, and good for him. It's a contract year.
Yeah.
He is presumably healthy. He should be. His rookie season, though, was a few years removed from now. That's when he was at his best, objectively, I think, when he flashed so much in his first NFL season. I don't think an all pro campaign is likely. I think if anyone gets an accolade at safety this year for the Chiefs, it's Justin Reed, because he's coming in as the new guy and would be quote unquote in the national media's eye replacing Tyrann Mathieu, blah, blah, blah. I think Thornhill could play well and make a Pro Bowl, perhaps. But I'm not, I'd say the odds are very, very low, even if he does play well, that he becomes an all pro. Like, that is a very, very exclusive club.
I like to see that his confidence is there though, because it seemed like it was shot that first year after the ACL tear, and then there's some weird Daniel Sorensen nonsense last year. So seeing him come out and say that, seeing that he's definitely a bona fide starter right away, it's nice to see that. It does take. I like people think just because the player is playing. I've said this a few times
That they're healthy.
that he's fully
100%.
healthy. He's
Yeah.
100% healthy. He trusts his knee. That's not how that works. These guys come back and they probably mentally remember that ACL tear. They favor the knee ever so slightly, even unconsciously. And for him playing his role as an explosive athlete, that really is not a great thing. So seeing him coming into this year, 2 years removed from it, you would hope that's where he's at, where he's trusting the knee now and it's fully healed. And I believe him when he says that. It's just, you want to see him play better off that health. So I'm with you. I can see Pro Bowl. And I think I see a way for it to happen because the Chiefs have a lot of high profile games this year. And if he's playing that deeper safety role, he could get a lot of interceptions in the middle of the field. So the interceptions are what leads to a lot of coverage, a lot of people knowing what your name is. Without Tyrann Mathieu, people will be a little bit interested in, who's that Chief safety who's getting all these interceptions without Tyrann Mathieu? And they'll see Juan Thornhill. I don't know if that'll lead to an all-pro level season, but I could see Pro Bowl. I like this talent, and his rookie year was so good that I'll say it's possible he could be a Pro Bowl level safety. I appreciate that his confidence is at all pro though.